Hey there, in this video we're going to be comparing the new HoverCam Solo Air wireless USB document camera with the Aver M15W wireless document camera. So in this video we are going to plug both of these cameras in, explore their various connectivity models, and we have two similar laptops. Actually, these are the exact same laptop, so that we can give them a fair fight when we plug them in and compare their image, compare the setup process. And we have a big screen TV here that we're going to be able to look really close at the details and see the difference between the HoverCam Solo Air and the Aver M15W. And before we jump in and get these cameras plugged in, let's talk about some of the similarities and differences from the outside. Both cameras have USB, so you could plug them in with a wired USB cable to a computer, PC, Mac, or Chromebook, although most people wouldn't use that feature because they invested in a wireless document camera, so they're going to use the wireless feature. But they also have a physical HDMI port so that you could plug these cameras directly into an HDMI TV, projector, interactive flat panel. One subtle difference is, though, the HoverCam has built-in video recording tools and an SD card, so you can remove that SD card and dump those files that you recorded directly onto the camera, instead of needing a computer to do your video recording. The Aver M15W does have a capture button. So, physical USB, HDMI. Now, when we start to get into the wireless conversation, which is the main focus of this video, these cameras start to depart a little bit and how they connect and the quality of that connection. So both cameras do have a wireless USB dongle, we'll call it, to plug into your computer to get that wireless connection. With the exception of the Solo Air, the dongle also has an HDMI port, and you guessed it, the Solo Air also does wireless HDMI, whereas the M15W does not have that capability. If you want HDMI, you're going to have to use a physical cable. Now, let's talk about the differences between how these cameras are connected. All right, starting off here with the Aver M15W, I am going to take their little dongle and plug it into my computer, making sure the camera is powered on. Now, I'm going to immediately open up Zoom because that's probably one of the more common applications people are using their document cameras for these days. And in opening up the software, I go to select a different camera. I want to switch it to my Aver, but unfortunately, Aver is not popping up as an available camera. I have the dongle plugged in and the camera's on, so what's the problem here? Well, it's because in order to use the Aver document camera wirelessly, you must use their software. So I'm gonna go to my web browser and Google Aver and find their software and download it. And I'm gonna fast forward through this part because it takes quite a while to download and install, but I'll be back with you guys in a second. All right, after a lot of downloading and waiting and clicking through the installation menu, we finally have the software installed. So let's go ahead and launch Aver Touch. And it's asking me to log in, but they let you skip it, so that's great. And I'm gonna skip it, and boom, the camera instantly pops up. So I'm gonna click Connect here, and it's gonna take a little bit to connect. And I'm gonna fast forward through this part too, because after about 60 seconds, I get a pairing failed message. Now, I tried this a couple different times. I tried restarting my computer. I tried re-downloading and installing the software. I factory reset the camera. I made sure it was on and charged. I even tried multiple USB ports on this computer, and for whatever reason, it would not connect to the camera, even though it detected the camera and put it on the dashboard there for me to connect. So after about an hour of trying to get my computer to work, I had to switch to another device. So I just went ahead and swapped the computers, even though they are the same computer. I downloaded the Aver software on my second computer, and after waiting for a while for it to install, I was able to launch the software again. So with the software open, I went ahead and plugged in the Aver wireless dongle, and upon making my way to the dashboard, boom, the camera instantly showed up on the dashboard. So I went ahead and hit connect, and boom. So the camera actually looked like it's letting me connect. So it's asking me for a passcode, and I just pressed skip because I don't know if that's setting a passcode or if it's asking for one, but it looks like it's starting a countdown process where it's reconfiguring the camera and getting it set up wirelessly. So after a little bit of waiting, the camera launched and I was finally able to get the Aver M15W connected. To be fair to Aver, I've set up this camera much quicker in the past. It's very sporadic. Sometimes it connects quickly, sometimes it just fails to connect like it did on the first computer. You know, this is really just what happens when you require native software to connect to your wireless document camera. Anytime Windows changes something like a software update, well, the software that you're using to connect to the camera might be out of date and it might just not work. So I'm not saying that's what this issue was, but honestly, I don't know why it wouldn't connect, but it connected with the second identical computer. So anyways, let's move on to connecting the Solo Air. So to connect the Solo Air, step one is to take the wireless dongle and plug it into your laptop. Now, step two is, well, there is no step two actually. There's no drivers to install, no software to download. So I'm just gonna go ahead and open up a software that will let me see the camera. Let's go to Zoom here. That's a common software where people are using document cameras. And you'll see here the splash screen for the dongle, so Zoom can tell the dongle is plugged in, and we'll give it a second here, and boom, the image pops up, all without downloading any software or installing any drivers. It just connects. So how does the Solo Air connect so quickly and effortlessly versus the Aver? Well, it all comes down to the hardware. The Solo Air camera has a wireless transmitter paired from the factory to a receiving USB dongle that you plug into your computer. But this transmitter receiver combo is actually super special. It employs our proprietary patent-pending DEEP protocol, which stands for Dedicated Extension Emulation Proxy. DEEP optimizes the image and accelerates all the processing needed for a high-speed wireless video, allowing Solo Air's wireless dongle to provide UVC video to the receiving computer without requiring a dedicated application. UVC video, or USB video class, is a universal protocol that every computer recognizes: PCs, Macs, Chromebooks, and most interactive flat panels. It's like a universal language. When you plug a regular USB webcam into your computer, you typically don't need to install any software because, that's right, it's UVC. We wanted Solo Air to follow the same protocol because we didn't want you to have to download software or install drivers and constantly keep them up to date, forcing you to reinstall and cross your fingers every single time your computer's operating system has one of those routine software updates. And to be abundantly clear, this means Solo Air can connect to any PC, Mac, Chromebook, or Android device like an interactive flat panel, all without downloading software, installing drivers, and keeping them up to date. When Solo Air is wirelessly connected, your computer actually thinks there's a wired camera plugged in, and gives you all the benefits of that, including being able to use the Solo Air wirelessly with any software that could possibly use USB video, like Zoom, your learning management software, or interactive flat panel software. Now, the Aver, on the other hand, requires you to use their proprietary software because their wireless casting technology is not using UVC video. It's not speaking the universal language. So the camera cannot be wirelessly accessed by any software other than their own proprietary software. And every time your computer gets an automatic update, guess what? You could be at risk of your drivers going out of date and your Aver failing to connect, like we experienced a minute ago, which was not planned, by the way. Well, enough of that. Now that we have both cameras connected, let's compare their wireless image quality. Okay, with both cameras set up wirelessly right next to each other, we can test out their image. I also have this little instruction booklet here just for demonstration purposes to see the image clarity. Delay for both of the cameras, there's minimal delay. They're both pretty fast, no visible lag. Let's also check the counting test. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Both cameras look pretty good. The Aver is lagging behind the HoverCam just a bit, but it's not very recognizable. Now let's look at the color though. Color is a big factor here. The Aver right off the bat looks very dark. The white paper looks more gray on the Aver. And the saturation, we can also tell that the color saturation is a bit high, especially when I put my hand under the camera here. You can see my hand looks a lot more red under the Aver and more natural on the Solo Air. I can promise you my hand is not that red in real life, so I'm gonna make a call and say the Aver has high saturation. But now let's look at some of the image clarity. Right off the bat here, we can see on the Aver that there is some noticeable compression distortion, especially with these lines. On the Aver, you can see these straight lines are actually made jagged on the Aver camera, and that is a result of the compression. On the HoverCam Solo Air, those lines appear smooth, no jaggedness at all. Now let's zoom in on both cameras and see what the image looks like. Now on the Aver camera, I'm seeing some different kind of compression in the form of artifacts around the text. Lots of sparkles and fuzziness around the outside of the text here on this page, which is quite distracting. Now over to the Solo Air, there is minimal artifacts. The text looks very smooth. We're not getting those random sparkling artifacts that we saw on the Aver. And this is a result of Solo Air's hardware that uses less compression when transmitting wirelessly. So you're gonna get a much smoother image. Now, both cameras are pretty comparable when it comes to wirelessly connecting to their computers and running their own software, but where the Solo Air really pulls ahead is its ability to cast to third-party applications like Zoom, for example, which is one of the very common applications teachers will want to use with their wireless document camera. So without further ado, let's pull up a Zoom meeting here and get both cameras connected. So on the Solo Air computer, let's start that Zoom meeting and you'll see instantly the image pops up thanks to that UVC video that works with any application that could ever use a webcam or other USB camera. Now let's go over to the Aver's computer and join the same Zoom meeting. And you'll see that the Aver camera does not pop up. So let's go into Start Video and look for that Aver camera. And again, we'll see that there is no Aver camera listed there because they do not use UVC video. So it is incompatible with any other program except for their own. So what we're gonna have to do here is open up Aver's software and share our screen to see the camera image. That is the current workaround that I'm aware of. All right, now with the Aver camera image up and running through screen sharing on Zoom here, we can see a significant amount of lag and delay, choppy video, a big drop in frame rate. Let's do the counting test to check that out real quick. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Tons of lag and delay there in the counting test, huge drop in frame rate. And this is because we are using Zoom's screen sharing feature. As far as I know, that is the only workaround to get the Aver's video up in a Zoom meeting or any third-party application that has screen sharing. That's probably what you're gonna have to do. And even with hardware acceleration turned on this computer and all the right settings selected, the Aver is still lagging behind the Solo Air, which let's go to the Solo Air and check out the image clarity there on Zoom. Looking at the other computer, which would represent the student side, we are seeing a very smooth, high quality video here with minimal lag and delay. Let's do the counting test on the Solo Air. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And you saw it here first, folks. The Solo Air's video is smooth with minimal lag, minimal delay, no choppiness, and no loss in frames. The students on the other end are gonna see a crystal clear video, and the setup was so easy. All you do is just plug the dongle into the computer and you launch Zoom, and that camera will be available right there in the start video options. No need to run any software, no need to share your screen or install any drivers. And because the wireless casting is just UVC video, you could use the Solo Air wirelessly with any computing device that accepts USB video. For instance, this interactive flat panel is Android based, and all I did was download a generic camera app, connect the Solo Air dongle to the USB port, and after a couple seconds it fires up and we're wirelessly casting. So this has implications into your learning management systems. If you're using interactive flat panel software that has a document camera function where you can pull up a document camera, rest assured you can connect Solo Air's dongle to the IFP, and now you're connecting and casting wirelessly to that IFP, something you can't do with the Aver. Lastly, it's worth noting that while Solo Air is configured in point-to-point mode right out of the box, it could also be configured to connect to an access point if you prefer for it to exist on your school's network. So at the end of the day, Solo Air is the world's only wireless USB UVC document camera, and it outclasses the M15W in every way. For more questions or a live demo, please contact us.